Massan's running right here is kind of in between that type of mid-range and Zoo, so should be interesting. I think the players are ready, so let's get into the game. Going to game number 1 here, guys. Again, it's a best of 7, and we'll see who can take it this week.
Ooh. All right.
Okay.
Well, Gnimish is going to start pretty slow. He's going to mostly mulligan everything. How do you kind of approach this? I think you have to still assume Zoo, right? I mean, as much as it's high level play, and not everyone is willing to play Zoo. I think everyone's seen how strong it is, so I think you can need a faster start than what Gnimish got.
Yeah, I think if you've watched Massan or if seen him in events, I think you would tend to think that he's playing Zoo over Handlock. Actually, I've seen him play much more Zoo. I think even last season on Deck Wars he played Zoo too.
Okay, well, he's about to reveal it anyways, and he has a very good start. He's got high durable minions that are pretty hard to remove unless you have a very specific combination of cards, and he's even got Soulfire to back him up. One thing that's an interesting tech choice is the Iron Beak Owl, and I think the Owl is so dominant in something like Mirrors. If you're able to kind of get your egg to pop and silence his, it just really throws away the momentum. But also, it might be some really important tech card to get through something like maybe that one Ancient Kavor that Gnimish has, if that becomes the case later.
Yeah. All right, Gnimish opting to get rid of that 3-2. Of course, that even though the taunt's kind of problematic, the 3-2 is going to do a lot of damage if you don't remove it right off the bat.
What do you think about playing the Abusive Sergeant here and not holding it? Do you think just it's better to get the mana curve out of the way, or do you feel like saving that 2 damage on something like the Argent Squire Divine Shield might be better? Do you have any opinions on that, champion?
Yeah, normally, I think that's how you would approach it. But given what he's got in his hand right now, I think he just wants to pressure as much as possible. Gnimish are already having to play one of his Wraths too, and then he's not gonna, unless he has another Wrath right now in turn 3. It's not like he's not likely to clear anything here.
But if you have no Doom Guards, there's not necessarily an incentive to push out cards that quickly, is there? I mean, the idea is that Zoo traditionally, because you have the Doom Guards on turn 5, you don't want to ever drop it in a scenario where you have too many cards. And so playing along the mana curve really often is beneficial. But in this scenario, with the fact that there are no Doom Guards, I think there is legitimate case to holding it. But we'll see if it pays off for Massan.
Yeah, holding it too, especially when you have things like Nerubian Egg. I can kind of see your point there. There's definitely some minions that he has to be able to buff, and having just as many options as possible. That's why it's pretty tough. But having to use the Innervate there too, it's not the worst thing for Massan here. He's a Warlock. I mean, he can always live tap too, right? So it's all good. Oh man, he's just getting
pretty happy
such small cards. Yeah.
Whoa, okay. I mean, he's playing as if he does have Doom Guards, right?
I know.
That's the way kind of Gnimish can interpret it.
He's got all his tiny units out there, though. He's not doing much damage with it, so it's not that intimidating for Gnimish right now.
Well, I mean, sometimes you have to go full Dennis when you're playing Zuka's the best way. I mean, why not? Leroy to remove here makes perfect sense. Are you? Take care of that Yeti. The Yeti's gonna get. Oh my goodness.
I don't think he's going to remove, dude. Yeah, I'm actually surprised he even removed the whelps, quite honestly.
Sure. I mean, Massan pretty much has one goal in mind, which is take his opponent to 0 health or below. And I mean, I guess at this point, if you've committed to being aggressive with Soulfire, you should commit to being aggressive with your Leroy as well. It's just that you don't want to ever lose it for value like this, which is what Gnimish got. He top decked the Wrath, which is very big, but he also did have an answer with the Mark of the Wild. So Gnimish is actually sitting at a pretty comfortable spot if he can stabilize. The board isn't very intimidating. And Zoo nowadays, again, they're trying to compound what they have. Nerubian Egg is a slower card. You need 2 turns to get it set. Knife Juggler also is a slower card. You need to set it and then start pushing out minions.
Man, I was hoping for a Lotheb draw there. That would have been pretty interesting because he wouldn't have been able to play Mark of the Wild, so he would have to kind of force. We'd at least get a preview of how Lotheb affects the game here. But yeah, Gnim's looking really good here.
Well, that Innervate draw is pretty weak. You'd like to see like a minion tweak with a claw or something, but I mean, he's got so many big threats in this deck. The fact that he got an Innervate, I guess it's nice because whatever he picks up, he'll be able to take out, but at the same time, it's just gonna sit here in his hand. Unless he wants to kill out his Argent Squire with it. Alright.
Oh, let's go ahead and just hero power. Massan, I don't I don't know what he can do. You know, he doesn't have that Doom Guard that can immediately just, you know, remove that big target right there in the Yeti in this deck. So he does have power overwhelming. Does he have another charged unit? I don't even think he does. He's gonna have to get like an egg. Oh, there we go. He did get an egg.
Yeah, it's just again he's playing a turn back. You know, he's lost so much momentum from what he did, and that's kind of the price he paid by not killing off this Yeti before. Oh, a Ragnaros top deck. That's going to be very useful next turn. Huh.
Just gonna
well, Gnimish can also pressure him to the point where he might be able to set up lethal the following turn. Depends on how he wants to do this.
It looks like he's probably... What would you do here, Freddy? Would you go face or just remove that 4/4?
Yeah, I like going for face because what it does is it puts an incentive for him to full clear. Either way, you can make a justification for. But this way, assuming Rag doesn't even hit the optimal target, you have to kind of assume that he taps in order to get to that range. And if he had Defender of Argus as well, then you wouldn't be able to set for lethal. I don't feel like you had to, but Gnimish took the super safe route. He is the control player, so
yeah.
Maybe I've been casting too much with Admirable, because Admirable absolutely would have recommended
Admirable goes face, no matter.
The way of like his opponent's Lotheb, which means the Gadget's Hand might be safer for 2 extra turns until he can remove that. But then if he has his own Lotheb, he can't do that either. It's gonna be kind of crazy, dude. And we're gonna see if that Lotheb's gonna be effective versus Miracle at all if it comes up. But also the Sludge. The Sludge taunt is also very annoying for Miracle to deal with, because after it dies, it creates another taunt. So even if you're somehow able to get rid of it with an Eviscerate, you still have to kind of take care of the other taunt before you Leroy Shadow Steps.
Yeah, that card's pretty interesting too. I mean, it's really sticky, and again, like you said, the token's a taunt too. So you're gonna be blowing some extra spells onto that card to clear him completely. But Lotheb's all right. We see Lotheb from on Massan here. Get a chance to see it, but he also has the auction here, so who knows if he'll even play Lotheb.
No idea, no idea. Now, taking a look at the starting hand of Gnimish, once again, it's a little bit on the slow side, but he is playing a slower Druid. Oh, Faceless. These things are all very reactive. And normally as a Druid, you want to be setting the pace. I'm also kind of looking at the fact that Gnimish doesn't have full combo. He only has 1 Savage Roar. He doesn't even have Force of Nature. So he made cuts there somewhere else. So the win condition for the Druid to reach is more of a strangle. It's not really, going for the throat initially by being proactive. So Gnimish is going to have to find some answers here. Otherwise, Massan will have as much time as he wants. He has Gadget's Hand. He even has Lotheb to kind of disrupt his opponent's tempo. So I'm kind of thinking that Massan, despite the fact that Lotheb's target at Miracle Rogue, is still looking pretty comfortable at the moment, unless Gnimish picks up something big.
You know what happens if you face this Lotheb, you get the... Is it a battle cry?
It's a battle
What's
cry,
the actual text?
so.
It's a battle cry. Okay, I forget what the
battle
text was
cry.
actually on Lotheb.
Because it only lasts for 1 turn, which is like
it only
the original
right,
thought.
right.
Oh, this is
going
actually
with
so
Edwin here.
clever. This is so clever from Gnimish, because you play the BGH, and then you tempt him to go kind of all in on the Van Cleave, because if he has it, and he has the Keeper of the Grove. He had 2 Keepers. So Gnimish actually baited this out perfectly and took away one of the primary ways for Miracle to end Druid, assuming they don't draw something like Leroy or the Gadget's Hand. So this is a very clever move from Gnimish.
Here we go.
All right, Massan's just gonna clear board. Well, actually, no, he's gonna clear board and then play the Earthen Ring. So it's setting up for a... Well, he's got both Gadget's Hands now, but I'm thinking he'll still play Lotheb next turn.
I think so. It makes a lot of sense. But with this Ancient of Lore coming out here, and he's able to squeeze into Innervate earlier, which is starting to become like a thing. Because what if they time their Lothebs to counteract a potential turn that you want to Innervate, and then you can't do anything? Oh, a preparation draw.
Oh,
that
nice
is
prep.
big.
Oh, wow.
Oh, man. Okay.
There
Well,
we
he
go.
picks up 2 cards. And he has Gadget's Hand number 2, so he's kind of completely okay with this dying here, Chanman.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is where it could get pretty tough for him. Like, if he plays a Lotheb here, I mean, Gnimish is going to have to respond purely with like a board play, right? With minions, he's not going to be able to play that swipe. This is where Lotheb can just like put a nail in the coffin here for you if you get board control.
That is interesting. That is interesting. I feel like you have to spend this turn removing though. Like if you're Gnimish, it's really tough. You have so many creatures that you want to drop over the span of the next couple turns, but you're stuck playing the removal game, and because you just can't leave up the gadget.
Yeah, definitely gotta get rid of the gadgets. No question. And don't got much mana left, so I mean, wrathing the Earthen Ring seems. He seems really hesitant about doing it though.
Well, because next turn
I
you
guess
can
he wants
also
the value. He wants the value from the keeper, right?
you can get that. You can even save the Wrath if you need a cycle for something else. It's just more versatile. Like for things that come out like the Thalnos, which isn't exactly the easiest to deal with, but he does have the
He's
keeper.
conceal. Oh.
Wow. Okay. And this is going to be really difficult to deal with because now that he's able to get the minion first out with the gadget stand, whatever he plays after this, and he times his Loatheb accordingly, it's going to be very difficult for Gnimish to handle. Huh. All right, well, dropping the Yeti is better than nothing, but I mean, at that point, he's relegated to do just that.
Okay, this turns on. So he's actually got an Azure Drake Eviscerate play right here, which is going to be perfect for him if he wants it. But, oh, Cold Blood.
I like it.
No, it's just too much value. It's too great a value there.
Oh, man, it's clean. A second prep. Ooh, do you go for it and just Cold Blood as a contingency plan? Why not? You have, I mean, this is your second gadget stand, so you need to kind of dig through
why
as
not?
much as you can.
Seriously, yeah.
Oh, okay. And not only that, Gnimish has already used a lot of his premium removal. Like he used the Wrath, he's used his swipes, so it's very unlikely that he'll be able to deal with it. He also used BGH, so there's no way to conveniently remove it.
Oh, it's feeling like YOLO Rag here. I mean, everything else is going to be pretty. I mean, everything else. What else is he going to do here? I mean, everything else.
Everything else is really safe.
Staggered.
Yeah, everything else is really safe. Like the Keeper plus the Yeti is super safe. It's essentially a game for life. Do you like this play?
I'm gonna go ahead and... I mean, I can see why he's doing it. Just hoping that he can get some kind of efficient trade for, or Massan's not going to be able to pull out an efficient trade. But I think that I don't know. I think the Yellow Rag would have been probably a higher percentage for him in the end. I mean, it's risky, of course, but if he hits one of those guys, then at least he has, he kind of turns the tempo around just a tiny bit, or at least forces Massan to deal with the Rag versus this.
Well, it was a 33% chance to lose, right? If it just hits the face, then you're staring at 12 damage. So I think Gnimish didn't want to take those odds immediately, but now because he didn't, he's staring at a board that's still really intimidating. And the fact that he can't really play removal spells, the joke's kind of on Massan because Gnimish didn't want to play spells the next turn anyways. And actually, because he Shadow Stepped that gadget stand, that actually might pave the way for a Rag play here. Huh?
All right, so 8 on the board. Is he scared? Well, he just saw him Shadow Step the gadget Zan, so he knows. He knows the crazy Leroy combo isn't possible. So he's probably not too scared about just Massan having lethal potentially next turn.
Well, you still have to kind of count what's the possibility. If he had one Shadow Step and a Leroy, that's still 12 plus the 8 and the 1 damage. All he needs to do is hit one of these minions. Here we go. Preferably Loatheb. But anything will do. Oh, and he gets it.
Oh, man, that's
huge. This is really important just because now, oh, wow, Massan picked up the sap, though. That's really important just to kind of take away what he just had. Because before that, I was going to say Massan's starting to lack damage options if he couldn't remove that Rag, but he's only got 9 cards left and he's digging closer and closer to Leroy, and he is playing 2 saps, so if Gnimish tries to go for the same shenanigans, he's going to be in trouble, plus the fact that the gadget stands alive.
Yeah, this is looking really good for Massan at this point. I mean, Gnimish, what is... Oh, Ancient of War, but again, he's got a sap, so... The problem with the Ancient of War is that it doesn't do anything to the board, right? Like if you compare Rag and Ancient of War, but he doesn't know he has a second sap, so Ancient of War might look pretty good for him here.
I wonder. I think one is really aggressive and one is defensive. If you Rag and you miss, even I mean there is hitting the SI7 agent feels like a miss because at this stage your opponent's gonna be on 10 mana. All he needs is 6 mana for Leroy, and most likely he'll be able to just draw through his deck and finish you off. So you're looking at a 33% chance to stay in the game if you hit Gadget Sand, because the SI7 agent is just as good as dead. That 3 damage is kind of inconsequential in the big picture of whether or not he hits the Auctioneer.
Oh, and he hits the SI agent like you were saying. It's a miss. It's a miss. I kind of understand the rag play though, because if he hits the face, at least he could potentially have a draw for a lethal with the combo. Some kind of chance to win, like in the next turn.
Wait. How much damage is that?
Okay,
he's
this
got
is 6,
13, 15 damage.
Oh, he's 1 short.
He's got 15 damage.
Oh, he could Blade Flurry? Wait, no, he doesn't have enough for Blade Flurry.
He's 1 damage off lethal. Oh,
Yeah,
man. Oh, but he gets the top deck.
Oh, he gets it.
That's game.
Gets that Shadow Step when he needs it. Nice.
And a fan
All
of
right,
knives, why not?
Yeah.
Welcome.
Clear out those locks. If you wanted to, no. But anyways, Massan goes, ties the series 1-1 in this best of 7 series. And, yeah, pretty good game there. Miracle Rogue. How are we gonna deal with a Miracle Rogue if you're a Gnimish?
Well, Gnimish didn't
Might
draw
have
any of his
a-
anti-attack. He didn't get his Ludge. He didn't get his Lothebs. He's gonna make it favorable all of a sudden. So I don't necessarily know if
You're
one is favorable over the other. I mean, Handlock generally gives Miracle a hard time, but what if Handlock doesn't draw its important cards like Twilight Drake until a turn late, and then you drop Lotheb, and you can't drop your Drakes, and you're just sit there tapping, waiting, and then Miracle Rogue strikes. These things can all happen now that there's more interactivity, but more importantly, the timing of what you draw your cards and how you play them.
All right, so Gnimish does draw the Mountain Giant, so he draws one of those huge turn 4s, and he has a Faceless too potentially behind it. So Massan's gonna have to deal with that Mountain Giant pretty quickly when it comes out.
sure is mine.
Double Weblord.
Well, Weblord is surprisingly disruptive against most of what Handlock has, other than these giants. Pretty much everything has a battle cry of some extent.
Yeah, look at those red.
the
Look at those red
taunters,
banners
yeah.
right there.
Faceless, which people never really think about, also has a battle cry. Lotheb has a battle cry, confirmed. We just see it with the cost going up. So
That's true.
I say why not? You have 2 Weblords in case he Soulfires.
Exactly.
Yeah, sometimes you Soulfire one
that
and you play your
giant might
trick.
be that giant might be the only thing he plays for a couple rounds actually.
Oh my god. Leroy is balanced,
Oh, there's
everybody. 8
Sledge.
man.
Okay. Yeah. All right, he's got to play something here. So probably, Ancient Watcher. It's the only play.
Yeah, but then his Iron Beak Owl's gonna cost 6 mana if he wants to activate it.
Oh, that's so true. Well, at least he can have it as just that kind of beacon for a Shadow Flame later. He's got 1 Shadow Flame,
Yeah.
I believe.
I think I saw 2. One of them was golden, so I may have thrown
this-
you off. But I think I saw 2 Shadow Flames in the deck.
Oh, 2 Shadow Flame. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? It's the Weblords are kind of. They're not really helping the Sun that much either, because he'd like to be throwing down some of these Earthen Rings too, I believe.
Well, the Earthen Rings also can be a way to just kind of heal outside of range and whatnot. You don't necessarily need to drop it immediately all the time. It's just nice because what the Earthen Ring usually does, it gives you, not only does it use up your mana and give you something to do when normally Miracle passes if they don't have something, you're able to also extend board control. Say you have a 6/6 Van Cleef, it trades with something like a 4/5, you heal it back up so that way it doesn't get Mortal Coil, etc.
Oh my god, how funny would it be if Lotheb can't come on the board. But Lotheb's on the board with the Weblord.
No.
You can't cast minions
Right.
or spells, man. That's crazy. That would be a pretty funny
That's bananas.
situation there. Yeah.
Huh. Well, Massan is actually stuck in a situation where maybe these Weblords weren't exactly working out.
That's what I
as
mean.
planned.
It's like because Miracle like relies on these minions being on the board to either help out with some of these giants, damage wise or whatnot, or even pressure,
Right.
and just get that damage and set you up for a potential early lethal. And he's not able to do that at all because of these Weblords.
Huh.
Twilight Drake's awesome. Oh man, we're starting to see at least some of the effects of the new cards. That's cool.
Do you risk it by soul firing a Weblord and then playing a Twilight Drake? I mean, you do have some really good quality cards in your hand. You have Leroy and Faceless, and it's not like your opponent's sitting at the most amount of health either. So in 2 turns, if you can get him to 12 health, actually no, the Soulfire can go to the face as well.
Yeah, I could go.
So if you have this combo range, actually, I feel like you can keep it.
Yeah,
Keep
actually.
it, go to the face, and put the pressure on. And if he, because sometimes Miracle Rogue suicides their own Web Lords until they can put their own battle cry. Say he draws the Azure Drake or something.
Yeah,
Lol,
exactly.
You can't do that. Oh gosh, this is a disaster, champion.
This is really
Oh my
bad.
god. The biggest
A
enemy to
7?
Miracle Rogue is Miracle
Oh
Rogue
my
because
gosh,
of itself.
Oh my god, a 7-mana Earthen Ring. Ouch.
This is actually hilarious. I can't even begin
This is
to
funny.
fathom the emotions going through Massan. I mean, he did show that he was crying facetiously, but I really do think inside somewhere some of his brain cells are dying. That's just my theory.
All right, so Gnimish can actually play the Twilight Drake now. It's a pretty big one too, actually. 4/8. And now, I mean, what is Massan gonna do about this? And it's got the Sludge Belcher actually protecting it too.
Yeah, this is so ironic, you know. This is the handlock feels under no pressure whatsoever. All of a sudden, you know, Miracle feels like they're on a clock that's non-existent. Oh, Massan needs a preparation.
Oh,
Ah.
he needed.
And you know, you kill this off, another token spawns, you
There's
kill off that
another one.
token.
Yeah,
There's still more to deal with. Wait, Massan. Wait. There you go.
Here we go.
almost went fast. Massan plays so fast.
Let's see. Now, is there a way to end this game right now if you're
For
Gnimish?
Gnimish, let's see. Well, he's got to get rid of
No.
at least. I mean, it's too expensive with the Web Lords right now.
Yeah, he used the
It
coin.
would've been-
Excuse me.
Yeah, it'd be 14 right now.
I thought maybe if he had the coin, maybe he'd had it, but I miscounted. So Gnimish still has to play out this turn, but I think he still feels really comfortable. His opponent's Gadgetzan came out really late. Except what makes it difficult are these Web Lords, because the calculations of how
Gosh,
the
those
turn
things-
plays out.
Those things have been on
you
the board for what, 5 turns now? This is crazy.
Possibilities.
How do you do this?
So did you were about to ask me, but do you tap, right?
I'm saying, can you even justify tapping relative to what you have? But I don't know. Gnimish is gonna heal up with this Farce here. I think he feels a little lost too. He's like, well, I guess I can't tap because I can't play anything even if I tap.
Not often do you see an Earthen Ring Farseer heal a Twilight Drake that's not taunted when you're a Warlock going against this Miracle Rogue. This is crazy.
Turn 9 Lotheb. Oh wait, no, he's gonna kill it, so he reduces his cost a little bit.
Yeah.
But still,
Play it, though.
turn 9. Okay.
Turn 9. So let's see if so Gnimish still has 14. See if he draws into
I
something
think.
cheap.
I think if he draws into 1 damage and he's able to take out this Web Lord. Oh no, but the Soulfire costs 5 mana now. Oh my god.
Oh.
Before I was saying if he drew like a
Oh
Defender
my
of
God.
Arceus. Alright.
I mean, everybody's cards are red, almost. This is so funny.
This is like
Okay, we got Belichick.
actual math now. Before Hearthstone was like rudimentary addition and
Wait, wait,
subtraction.
wait. And Seal's not. Oh, it's only 1 turn, right? Yeah. Okay.
No, the conceal is not necessary yet. He might still draw a second gadget. And for all intents and purposes, Massan's been drawing pretty poorly. You know,
Yeah,
Gnimish might feel like this Lotheb is an act of desperation to perhaps set up lethal for the following turn. Say if he had like the optimal combo. So I think playing this Lotheb timing is very smart. Why not just put up another Taunter and then just kind of figure it out from there. And you still have Faceless, Leroy, and the Soulfire combo next turn. So as any of these minions stick, that's game.
Yeah. Good point.
Okay.
Oh,
Well,
there's
Massan has a
Massan.
6 mana conceal and a 6 mana cold
6
blood.
mana conceal. Oh my god, that's so brutal.
And I think he has
does
to remove with
he has to
Leroy,
throw
but
the-
even then,
Yes.
that's
Yeah.
game. Because what's unfortunate is like even if he uses Leroy's removal, the Whelps actually betray him because he heals slightly out of range before that. But
Yeah.
now Gnimish has the combo, And so that's going to be game number 3. But man, what a weird
What a
game this was. Considering what we're normally used to, Chan Man. I was not
Yeah,
prepared.
I mean, you could tell the players were even just like even Massan after he played both web lords, he was kind of at a loss as to the effects of it, or maybe even regretting it to a certain point. Trying to work Bloodlust back into Shaman, which is always a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Okay, it sounds like the players are ready. Going to go into game number 4 here. And traditionally, the Shaman is a pretty good matchup against the Handlock, but we'll see what happens now.
Right, don't be so quick to count your eggs.
Yeah, we'll see what happens now.
Might feel favored, but at the same time, what if you're forced to use Hex on, like, you know, something that's wreaking havoc, like this Sludge Belcher or something, and all of a sudden all your proportions are out of whack. But to be honest, it feels like the Handlock still plays pretty similarly. It's just that Lotheb throws a weird wrench into things, especially against Shaman, who kind of likes to use these spells, these premium removal spells, the Earth Shocks on the Twilight Drake, the Hexes on the Giants. If you can time this Lotheb really accurately, you might be able to completely destroy the Shaman matchup. Even if the removal's a turn late, that's a turn that you can use to set up the board.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, worst case, you know, you get Lotheb down and the Shaman can still cast Hex, but you know, instead of the Shaman casting Hex, which is the cheapest, you know, kind of quote unquote single removal type of minion, it doesn't remove him, but it pretty much, you know, negates it completely. You kind of take away the fact that Shaman can usually wants to play like a couple minions or, you know, totem and another card behind it. So that really hurts the Shaman, I think, overall, just not having the ability to do that. Gnimish has 2 Mountain Giants and a Twilight Drake.
So the good old
This is looking pretty good
50-50.
for him.
What do you like leading off with? Do you like leading off with the Giant or the Drake?
Ooh, that's a good question. I generally, in this matchup, I like to lead off with the Drake. I mean, I should just take that chance. And, you know, if he has a Earth Shock, then that sucks. But if you throw on a Giant first a lot of times, he'll have a pretty optimal... he can have a pretty good optimal situation because he's going to have minions on the board leading into that turn 4. And if he has a Flame Tongue item like he does right now, then, you know, he's looking pretty good. It looks like he's just going to Storm here.
He's going to Storm and then coin out the Flame Tongue. Right, but he wants to roll high. He can roll 4. Oh, he gets 4 damage.
Nice.
That's so nice.
Nice.
That is so nice. So now he doesn't have to trade a shield whatsoever. And now he can kind of push for damage with a brand new Nerubian. Delivered fresh on his mat. Okay. You know, I like playing the Giant just because if they Hex, at least it takes up most of their mana, versus if they Earthshock, they still have room to play, you know, something like an Unbound or Feral Spirits or something. It gets really annoying. But now Gnimish, he has lost his Giant, but also he has to deal with the fact that this Giant is going to be contested with the Flame Tongue Totem. Even if he's able to deal with this efficiently, and he does lose the Sludge, if his opponent's holding like a Rock Bite or Lightning Bolt, he still has a way to answer it immediately.
Well, there's a Lightning Bolt, but just a little bit...
I fight.
It's a little bit short on just the damage to remove the Giant, but he's going to try to set up for next turn. He's going to have 6 mana next turn, right, with their Azure Drake, so that's going to be nice for him. 2 Watchers, and wow, he's got a lot of taunting ability here.
He does. One thing that's kind of tough is that you'd like to use Hellfire as a way to clear, but obviously you can't Hellfire and Farseer. And that kind of disincentivizes building up an Ancient Watcher as well. Having a Hellfire. I mean, obviously, I think the Ancients are a very superior play because you have to set up a huge wall. It's just that the converse is that this Hellfire is just kind of dead in your hand until you absolutely need it to the point where you know, it's basically a dead card for now until maybe further down the line in the game.
All right, so this kind of ruins Massan's plans for this turn. He's going to opt for the fire elemental instead. I think that's a really good play there. But that Mountain Giant's getting a lot of value here.
Yeah, should be able to do some work. Very nice top deck for Gnimish.
Ooh, Siphon
Gets the
Soul.
Siphon Soul. Very nice. Okay, Massan needs an answer to this Giant directly. He's just... Ooh, he does have the second fire elemental. Okay.
Turn around. Starting to turn around a little bit for him here. Got to get through these Ancient Watchers, though. Maybe a Lightning Storm would be decent here.
Well, how can you lightning storm if you got a Lothab?
Yeah, load that. That's true. That is true. Power overwhelming, not really useful right now. So for it does, it does help the Twilight Drake health there. Yeah, I think it's I don't know. What would you play here, Lothab or Twilight Drake?
At this stage, Lothab feels like you're throwing it out just because you need a minion. The problem is if you play the Twilight Drake, you're just going straight into the Earthshock, and you feel like you're going to lose so much of the board, especially if he has Earthshock and then an ability to clear your board. From that point on, you don't really have a way to fight back without just this Hellfire, which isn't enough guaranteed insurance to be able to fight it back against everything else. This Defender play is really passive. He's going to try to time this Lothab accordingly, like we kind of mentioned before, and for good reason. Look what he just top decked. He has an Earthshock. And Gnimish is going to hold on to this Twilight Drake, but it might get to the point where he has to kind of play and just live with the consequences.
Yeah, I really like that. Yeah, that Defender was passive, but it's such a good play because it forces Massan to actually trade minions into it versus just getting 2-for-1s, right? So,
I just realized
you can't even play the Flame Tongue there.
I think Gnimish has the mana to Lothab plus Twilight Drake this turn. Oh, okay. Well, he's not going to go for it. I thought that would have been really clever.
That would have been cool.
Because if he played Lothab with the Twilight Drake, then all of a sudden Earthshock is not so value. I mean, it is value, but at the same time, like, how much value are you truly getting? Because you're playing
you're almost blowing your whole turn. Yeah, no, that's a good point. Right, you're still gonna get good value here. Yeah, good value still with the egg, or just like nullifying the egg completely. And
oh no, I really would have liked
a good draw here. Oh, that hex. It's an expensive hex.
Yeah, but now he has. Oh, he's playing as Defender. I thought he was going to use his Flame Tongue.
So this
trade, but
I mean, this is the kind of stuff that I feel like Blizzard, when they introduced Lothab, like they want this. They want minion on minion battling on the board here, and we're starting to see it in this game at least.
Yeah, but now he kind of opens himself up to like a Shadow Flame as well. I guess technically he did the same thing with the Flame Tongue Totem. The consequence is about the same, but I like having Defender of Argus to kind of repump the board after a board clear, because one of the toughest things for Handlock to deal with is if there's an immediate reload and they don't have second AoE to back it up. Say there's a Shadow Flame on the Giant or something, then you play Feral Spirits and then something like Defender of Argus on the Totem, and all of a sudden it's once again really difficult for them to deal with. But Flame Tongue also can pick up immense value in trading as well, so you use it as a surprise element. At that point, you would have been trading your Unbound versus doing something else, so I can understand that logic. Oh, he does pick up the Shadow Flame, okay. Too bad he lost his Watchers.
Yeah.
How do you use the Shadow Flame? Do you power the Owl and then clear? Is that a waste? Do you even use it at all? Do you Hellfire and then Mortal Coil the rest? And use your Owl to kind of clean? Huh, okay.
Oh, I don't know. I think I would have used the Hellfire there. Just clear the board and then heal up the Lothab. And just use the Mortal Coil too there. But he's going just the power overwhelming. Yeah, Shadow Flame route. This is good too.
Well, he wanted to get the damage in, because I was kind of surprised, like, why didn't you just Shadow Flame first? But I guess because he has something like Hellfire as well. Oh, well, Lothab drawing the Hex, which is another really good target of or good use rather of what Lothab is, because then that's heat away from something like a Molten Giant as he draws closer and closer to it.
Yep. Oh, Sludge Belcher. So it looks like Gnimish isn't going to play that Twilight Drake unless he just absolutely has to, or it has no more minions to play here. Got to figure that Massan has the Earthshock by now.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, at best, it's going to come out as a 4-5.
Yeah.
If you're Massan, you're still kind of waiting for it, because now you're still kind of fighting the value game. The problem is you haven't been able to kind of build the board. In fact, it's the exact opposite scenario, where Handlock's building the board against you, and this Hellfire can do a lot of work as well. It's just really tough. It's really tough if you're in Massan's position. Oh, wait, double Mortal Coil. That might be even better. I think that's actually way better.
Yeah, I think that's way better. Actually, Hellfire would hurt him pretty. Well, no, I guess he could have just done it, but the Mortal Coil is way better though. Oh, Shadow Flame.
Still something
That's
even
good.
better than that.
No, that's the best thing that could happen. Now you can just Shadow Flame one of those Earthen Rings, or you could just Shadow Flame the Twilight Drake and just I think the Shadow Flame the Twilight Drake is probably good so that he can't get that Earthshock value, right? Good play there.
Sure. And then all of a sudden, if he's holding Earthshock, which he might deduce since there's been 2 cards sitting in Massan's hand for a while, he says, I'm going to kind of preemptively get value out of my Drake immediately, rather than wait for you to kind of pick up value in response. And now Massan is at the mercy of his opponent, which I believe this should be game with the double Mortal Coil that you just kind of push through for damage, and Gnimish is going to jump out to a 3-1 lead.
Yep. Take a pretty commanding lead in this best of 7 series. In that game, I think Lotev had some impact. Belcher even too. I mean, Belcher, like getting that first Belcher out there pretty early was he's down. He's gonna have to win 3 in a row here with this Druid deck. And this Token Druid is one of those decks that you can do that. So it's not a bad one to end on here. And look at Massan doing his little dance.
He's got Black Knight. But he's gonna throw it away to opt for a faster start. Massan trying to psych himself up, I guess, in some capacity.
Yeah, exactly.
Huh.
You need somebody with a towel like fanning him down, man. Where's his coach?
Sure. Give him some corner coaching.
That's right.
Okay, so Massan does have the Archer Squire, but he's going to be sitting duck for several turns, waiting for his opponent to do something. Gnimish, in the meantime, still doesn't have exactly a clear-cut plan. He's waiting for his first drops. Innervate's very nice, though, for Massan, because he can do that on the Azure Drake. You just hope that your opponent doesn't have Soulfire, but even so, that kind of weakens his own play for something like a Azure Drake. Or Mountain Giant, rather. You can still coin out the Azure Drake.
Gnimish's hand's starting to look starting to look kind of mid-rangey, quite honestly. He might end up playing any Giants for a while and end up just going for like maybe he might play Sun Fury Protector here and coin into the Argus maybe next turn.
Well, the justification is that next turn, if he doesn't draw anything worth dropping, he can't tap. He'd be overdrawing at that stage. So he's gonna play a Sun Fury now to remove the shield early. So that way, if there's things like Power of the Wild combos with Violet Teacher, he can kind of pick up value ahead of time. And now in this case, he can kind of tap freely and then Soulfire, or even Soulfire first and then tap. I would Soulfire here because you don't really have that valuable drop. Faceless. That does sting a little bit, but at least you can still tap and maybe get something.
Yeah.
Nice.
I mean, at least in the Faceless, he does lose the combo, the big burst combo at the end. So that can be bad and can make the Druid just feel a little bit more comfortable. At least one of the options for endgame is gone.
Do you like keeping the Power of the Wild here and not using it? Because I figured he kind of
given his hand, I think I would have used it. Yeah, given his hand, I think I would have thrown it out there.
Interesting. The reason why I like it is just because as the Druid, there's a very finite time where you can kind of do stuff to the hand lock. The longer they build up their mana count, it's just like it becomes increasingly more difficult because they set up stronger walls. If they have Sunwalkers or Sludges in this case, and Ancient Watchers, it just becomes difficult. You only have one Black Knight.
Yeah, he ended up double playing there, so I'm not sure what he was even like hoping to draw there. With the Power of the Wild, really.
He was hoping to draw on something like Violet Teacher eventually, and then Power Wild consecutively to maybe put it even outside of like ranges of Hellfire if he drew something like Harvest Golem. But unfortunately, he didn't hit these drops. He did pick up a Keeper of the Grove, which is actually very big, because if these Twilight Drakes went unchecked, then that actually could have been lights out from this point on for Massan, because he's stuck playing cleanup with cards that are not very good, like Swipe and Savage Roar. That's not very efficient against Twilight Drakes.
Yeah, not to mention the Belcher could have protected both of them here, but he did get rid of one of them.
Sure.
And Gnimish, again, he's just got this, he's going to be playing this mid-range game. He doesn't even, he's being able to stay ahead of Massan even without the Giants right now. So Massan's going to do some work here. He does have the Black Knight, but it doesn't complete. This is the Belcher, right? It doesn't die completely to the Black Knight, which is...
It's still hard to pass up, though, because you're still doing 5 damage. You're still forcing him to have the Giants. he by now he's kind of played a really passive few turns. I mean, passive in the sense that if he had the Mountain Giants, most likely he'd be playing aggressive towards it by tapping a lot and playing it. So rather than kind of waiting for it, you can put that 4/5 body out. He has combo as well. So if he taps into something like Innervate and his minions stick, then all of a sudden he might find himself in a surprising situation of lethal. So I think playing the Black Knight here is the right call. Unfortunately, it's not going to work out for him, though, because Gnimish is going to strike right back with a very intimidating board of himself.
Yeah, this handlock back seems pretty good, man. I have to say. Alright, so he's going to go swipe here and get rid of most of it. And,
Second Savage.
Yeah,
he's got second Savage Roar Chan, man. So
well,
he's still
he gets
in
that Innervate, man. Yeah,
exactly.
He gets Innervate, he can just surprise him.
Well, not with a Lotheb.
No,
can't do that just yet.
That's true. Well, he's got a couple turns anyway. He's not quite
Sure.
10 mana.
It's an Ancient of Lore turn. Unfortunately, you're dropping Ancient of Lore directly into the Lotheb, so once again, you're playing into a field where your opponent can dictate the trades that are very good. And now Massan has pretty good cards, like okay cards that are sticky, that are hard to remove. But I think Gnimish has everything he needs. The only thing is that his hand count's pretty low, so he's probably going to start tapping aggressively to figure out what he can do from here.
All right, so he drew an Argus. Draw Argus is going to be pretty nice here, but Massan can't be feeling too comfortable. I mean, Gnimish, he saw what? He saw Power Overwhelming. He saw some pretty bursty cards in his deck. He knows he doesn't have the Manipulator anymore, but obviously Leroy and even Power Overwhelming is still going to be extremely good for him here, and potentially just end it next turn if he draws something like a Leroy next. Is he going to go face here, you think? Or do you think he's going to just remove that?
Well, his opponent already played Black Knight, so I think he's not really afraid of losing Lotheb value.
Yeah.
If you attack this Ancient, you actually set yourself up pretty openly for something like Swipe Keeper, and then your board almost pretty much disappears. But I like exactly what you said. If he picks up something like Leroy the following turn, this game's over. So he's going to set up into a way he knows best. If his opponent has to even use hero power to trade, he gets closer within the Hellfire range. Maybe like a Power Overwhelming Hellfire can end the game. So I like going for face here.
Ooh. A Wrath. I mean, this is going to be tough for him to stay alive. Even with
he's got a force combo.
What's that currently out there? Yeah, he's got a force combo, but it's not even going to be the most efficient.
Nope, but he gets a 4 clear, which is really important, especially if he picks up second one. And he does have minions that kind of start playing the following turn. Sometimes at this late stage of the game, the Token Druid is stuck playing the cleanup without any ways to follow it up. They just have second combo sitting in their hand. But Massan has stuff to do next turn, which is important. And Gnimish whiffs on 2 back-to-back draws. That is pretty bad. He's even thinking about throwing Ironbeak Owl to fight off the entire Druid army just by itself. Ironbeak Owl can't even do that. It's unfortunate.
That's true. He is going to be able to play that Mullen Giant next turn, which would be pretty difficult for Massan. Well, Massan will have to do something about it.
Massan,
see what he draws.
because of that dead turn, Massan might actually just win. Because now Gnimish basically wasted 8 mana, or 6 mana effectively. Well, I mean, you traded the 2 mana for the hero power with the Iron Beak. You kind of expected that. So he's wasted 8 mana. And now he's just stuck playing tap. Oh, man. And now you feel like you could just
got a draw now. Yeah, Massan's got a draw. I mean, he definitely has like a Force of Nature draw to win, but does he have anything else that he could draw?
That's it. No, he has it right here. Right here. He has it with Swipe and Savage Roar. I believe so.
What? Let me see.
No, Massan, you got this. Massan, you got this, buddy.
Wait. Let's do the math here. It's 12 with the swipe.
Plus the 4 swipe and the hero power.
And then you can just hero power. Yep.
Exactly. So Massan has it.
Massan, come on, buddy.
He's got exactly.
Come on, buddy. All right, here we go.
He sees it. Okay.
All right, he sees it. Okay, man.
We have a series, Jan, man.
Yes, we have. He's getting back in it. This is good stuff. So he's gonna at least get back, get a game back, and he's gonna draw closer to that comeback. It's gonna be 2-3 now. Gnimish still up, and I think the players are about ready. Frodan, Any predictions on this game, man?
Well, Shaman's supposed to do okay against Druids, but with the pace that you've been able to set with cards like the Haunted Creeper and forcing out Earthshocks early, and just kind of like throwing up removal all in a wonk, it might be really difficult to fight for board position as a Shaman against a Token Druid, right? Because if they have all these sticky minions, Ardent Squires, the Haunted Creepers, the Harvest Golems, then all of a sudden your totems really can't get that much value. And then Druid can deal with that easily and just burst you if you don't really have defenses. Gnimish is really agonizing whether or not to keep this Earthshock, which I feel like, granted what Massan showed him, Earthshock is usually a really good keep just because you want to be able to deal with stuff. But I think he also wants an activator for the Nerubian Egg, more importantly. Otherwise, that's a dead
Lightning
card.
Storm. Yeah. Well, Lightning Storm, you know, can have some uses against the Token Druid, given that Token Druids like to fill the board. It's going to be starting out with a lot of these Ardent Squires, too, so... Already has the combo. A little early for that, but... Definitely, you know, he'll have that option by the end of the game, or at least the Savage Roar. Savage Roar actually could be pretty useful here.
Massan's got his beginning and end of the game figured out. You know, he figured out, okay, I got a great start and I have the way to finish.
Just gotta
put
figure out the
some
meat
meat
of the
between those
sandwich.
buns.
Yeah, exactly. Right?
Exactly,
He's got
dude.
another Force of Nature, man. Look at that.
Well, because I think Hearthstone was like, I heard Savage Roar and Force of Nature were good together, so why not put them together for you, Massan?
That's right.
Okay, well, he has a Defender of Argus, which is really important as well. So that way he can just continue to build presence back against all these small minions, especially if something like Harvest Golem comes out. I think this Defender of Argus will be super clutch.
Oh, wow. Okay. Well, that was a pretty good draw on the swipe. He's going to go over 1 mana, but man, that's perfect draw, though.
Yeah, that's you need to deal with the Unbound immediately. But I think Gnimish might be okay with that because he has second Unbound. And his opponent just used premium removal to get rid of it, so the Unbound already kind of did its job. It's it's taken up so much of his opponent. It took 2 cards, essentially, the Innervate and the Swipe. So I think Gnimish is okay with that, as much as Massan's able to grab some tempo with it.
All right, pretty bad turn, or not just not a great turn here for Massan. Not going to be able to do much of anything. And Gnimish, do you play the egg at this point, or do you... I guess he can egg and totem here, or he could just Argus.
Was he gonna be on 5 mana?
Yeah, he's gonna be on.
Well,
Oh, well.
I think you
or
picked
you
up
could
his
just
answer right here. There you go.
Or you
Why
could use
not?
Azure Drake. Nice.
Why play what's in your hand if what you drop top deck is the best card anyways, right?
Exactly. How do you feel about Earthshocking Argent Squires?
I think it's one of the best targets to do, just in terms of pure value 1-to-1. It's rare that you're able to kind of Earthshock something and kill it. Harvest Golems usually stay alive as 2/2 or 2/1s. So I think Earthshocking it, you definitely can, but not really necessary in this scenario where it's just a 1/1 token. I think also if it's got Power of the Wild buffs, but it's a legitimate question. Some people kind of wonder about it, so I think completely valid to ask that. Huh.
Wow.
Now I think playing this and Earthshocking the 3/2 is also very powerful. Playing the Azure Drake, just building up your card advantage.
He's really tempted to Argus this egg though. Let me see if he ends up doing that instead.
Okay. Neither is really wrong because his opponent's starting to come up on turns where he really needs to hit on drops as well, and the Nerubian Egg kind of puts this like weird scenario where if he can't deal with it, all of a sudden his board's just gonna stay strong even if he removes it, which is exactly what Massan is kind of forced to do at this stage. Even if he uses Force of Nature, though, it's not very clean.
No, it's not at all. He's going to leave at least one of the bigger targets on the board, either the 4/4 or the 5/2 here.
Well, he has to go through the 5/2 in order to get to the 4/4, so most likely the Nerubian Egg will.
True. Oh, that's true.
But,
that's a good point.
Yeah, I think saving it here, you can make a justification. Because what it does is, if you use a Force of Nature, you effectively make your opponent's board just as strong. I guess you take off a couple of damage points, but you wasted your removal and you got nothing done. So Gnimish is looking very good. He's got a second Nerubian Egg, and he's got another Azure Drake ready and loaded.
Yeah, and Massan's only got... Well, he's still... again, you can use the Force of Nature in the combo, or just leave the Force of Nature to remove... as a removal mechanism, but he does have one more swipe too, and he's gonna need it really, really soon here. Oh, Wrath, is that gonna help here? Nope, he's just gonna go ahead and still Ancient Allure setting up that turn. He was already setting it up last turn. Okay, so he's got an Innervate now, and he's got some Violet Teacher potential. But that board is gonna be something he has to deal with next turn.
Well, it's
That
not gonna
board's
get
just
it easier with that Hex.
No, oh my gosh, yeah.
Hex, Defender of Argus, continue pushing. I don't think at this stage anyone's really running Poison Seeds, and even so, Nerubian Egg is resilient against it. So what are you really afraid of? I guess Black Knight from your opponent?
Even
How do you
Black
answer
Knight
a
is
Black
like
I still think that's too much to pass up, though. You Hex, you use the one attack to push through, you get an 8 damage, you put your opponent at 13. Ah, okay.
Whoa. Okay. Well, he just wants to crack the eggs. Okay.
Sure.
Yeah, at the expense of 1 Argus, really. That's not that expensive.
Well, I guess
I kind of liked the 1-3. I kind of like the 1-3 taunts though, because it's a very odd number. You know, like odd number for the druid to typically remove. He does have the power of the wild, so he could have maybe just done it with the Horse Natures.
Yeah.
But generally, it's not easy to remove a 3 damage minion in this kind of situation.
What's nice about this, and is kind of like an underline to how the game's kind of progressed, is that Gnimish has lethal next turn if the opponent can't deal with it.
Yeah.
He does open himself to a Poison Seeds, but of course no one's really playing that right now.
Yeah, there's no Poison Seed. Even with the Poison Seed, you still have to follow it up with some type of removal,
Right,
like a
Starfall or
Starfall, and he doesn't. Yeah.
Abomination Naturalize, I don't know.
Some
Some people are thinking. Some people are just wait. You're gonna make crazy
Yeah.
combos eventually.
Yeah, yeah.
And speaking of crazy combos, this could be ridiculous if his opponent's board wasn't so intimidatingly large. Because just look at what happened. There's gonna be what 4 tokens that are 2/2 plus a 4/6.
Yeah.
Like that's
and
a crazy rebound. And his opponent has 14 damage. So if Gnimish draws into 2 more damage to the face of some kind, this game is over. But Massan put up one hell of a fight. Like, look at what he's able to do the following turns.
trying to come back, and he does. He draws the fire elemental, and that's gonna end it. And Gnimish is gonna take this season 2, week 10 of Deck Wars. Gonna win 4-2 over Massan. And man, it's cool seeing those eggs.